Hello and welcome to the Sportfish Spring Spectacular. My name is Lucy Bowden. I am Marketing Exec here at Sportfish. I'm also a Level 2 angling coach. I'm here today at the beautiful Thrunton Long Crag Trout Fishery. It's currently raining in Northumberland, and I am joined by Paul West, who is the National Coordinator for the charity Fishing for Heroes. Hello Paul, and thank you for joining me.
Thank you for inviting us.
So look, let's get started. Tell us about Fishing for Heroes. There'll be a lot of viewers who don't know about the charity, so please tell us all about Fishing for Heroes.
Well, where did we start? I mean, it's quite a long history. In fact, there's 15 years of history.
Gosh, 15 years?
I know, I mean, you were involved with it.
100%.
What, 10 years ago, 11 years ago now? You've been constant all the way through, it's fantastic. The history of the charity, if you look back, there's a gentleman called Tom Hill, who was one of our founders of the charity. He was approached back in 2004 by a welfare officer of the Royal British Legion down in Devon, and basically saying, "Oh, well, you know, fishing is good for mental health, isn't it? It's good for you." And Tom said, "Yeah." He was a psychiatric nurse. I think he'd been a psychiatric nurse for about 20 years prior to that. So I've got a lot of experience in mental health and working with people who are suffering poor mental health. So he took one of the guys who had been referred to him by the RBL, Royal British Legion, out for the day, and it went from there really. Tom had his own fishing school as well, so he was kept busy with that as well. He was a big, busy man, busy guy. And he started doing more and more guys through the Royal British Legion. So it got to, he was doing that for about 5 years. And it was great, and Tom being Tom, he put his hand in his own pocket, he paid for all the fish tickets for the guys, diesel to go pick them up, whatever, he covered over all the costs. It got to the stage in 2009 where there was, he met this other chap, and they said, right, okay, we need to be doing something about this. There's sort of demand for this, especially amongst the veteran community that we specialised in. So the charity was formed in 2009.
2009?
2009.
Oh, gosh, such a long time ago.
And then we registered with the Charities Commission in England and Wales in 2010, or right at the beginning of 2010. And it's just gone on from there, really. Sadly, Tom passed away quite a few years ago now.
It'll be before I started, and that was 10 years, around 10 years ago, so that,
So I was personally a trustee prior to actually working for the charity full time. And the chief exec at the time, as he was called, as chief exec, he was supposed to go run the logistics over at Camp Bastion. So he went off and did that, and so it left a bit of a hole. So the other trustees turned around to me and said, well, I wasn't just a trustee in name, I was very involved with the charity. So so that's what I took on, and that was 2011.
And do you have a military background, Paul?
Not at all.
No, so a bit like me, we don't have. Yes, we've got family. I've got family, but I'm assuming you're the same.
Exactly.
But you personally haven't served?
No, I didn't serve. The nearest I got to was I was in the CCF.
Okay.
And for those that don't know, it's the Combined Cadet Force at school.
Right, yeah.
So that's the nearest I got. A lot of friends joined up and did their service. But apparently I've got the right mentality for it. I'm not sure whether that's a good thing or bad.
I was going to say, is that positive? Is that in it? Yeah, what?
I think it's referred to as a NAFI mentality.
Right.
So that sense of humour, understanding empathy, which is a massive part of the role.
And what is it about it that you enjoy the most? I've gone off-piste on our questions. I do have a list of questions here that we're working from. But I think it's nice, isn't it, to understand, like, what you enjoy about, ultimately a job that you do and what you bring to the veterans.
Yeah, I mean, I spent many years in business prior to being with the charity, and then went into, I dabbled into politics as well. I can honestly say, hand on heart, that I get more satisfaction, job satisfaction, how to do this every single day than I ever did prior to it.
Yeah.
And it's quite interesting actually, because social media and whatever, we've got a presence on there.
Absolutely.
And we only a couple of weeks ago, somebody, I put a post on about giving a lecture or doing a presentation at Chester University.
Yes.
With the MOD and the NHS. And one of the guys on there said, basically, be proud.
Absolutely.
Right? My immediate response was, I'm not proud. Yeah. What I am proud of is to see the guys, when they start with us from day one, to go on to be, good anglers, regional coordinators, and then in turn helping other people as well.
And also casting qualifications, because a number of them go on to become instructors, right?
That's
so
right,
then they can be a lot more hands-on with other veterans, which I think is brilliant,
One of the things, and we are going off a little bit.
We are.
But that's what it's all about. One of the you ask anyone who's suffering with all sorts of things, and one of the most therapeutic things they can do is to actually help others. Right? And being able to give people the opportunity to do that.
Yes.
Or facilitating it, putting them in a position where they can. The improvement just goes on up and up.
Absolutely.
So it's phenomenal, really.
Yeah.
And that's, that's what I'm
That's the thing for you.
That's what gets me up in the morning.
That's what gets you up.
People have said to me in the past, and on a regular basis, where people say, how do you know when you're being successful? Right?
Yeah.
And with funders, and people, a lot of funders now are expected to monitor, official funders. They like to see the stats. People say, how do you know when you're being successful? My automatic response to that is it depends on the individual. For some people, it could be achieving instructor's qualification. We take referrals from a number of different places. Predominantly at the moment, they're coming through the NHS, through Operation Courage, which is a department within the NHS that specialises in veterans' mental health. Okay. The NHS obviously has seen a massive need to create these arms length or branches within the NHS. So they refer them to us. We also get referrals from combat stress, other charities, regimental associations, GPs, crisis teams, localised crisis teams, and also through individuals. And very often it's a case of where their other halves get them to apply, because girlfriends, wives, whoever, very often take the daily brunt of it, so they put them onto us, or they do the research to pull them onto us.
Do you get referrals on a regular basis? Is it like daily, weekly, monthly?
It goes in phases. We can have up to 20 a week, referrals a week. We can have 2 referrals another week. There's no fixed pattern to it. It's we're there when we need it.
Of course, of course. And being a female angler, sorry to interrupt, just interested, is it more men than women predominantly?
It is.
Okay,
I think historically, the main reason for that is the history of it, is that relatively more recent that ladies, girls, females were in the front line and taking the brunt of any action. although I would say definitely, for example, with nurse and medics and things like that, if you've got people working in the theatres or whatever, you know, they will see, they'll be affected by it.
Yeah, of course.
But it is predominantly men. Yeah, we get the referrals coming in.
Yes.
So then the application is a very simple application form, so that we can verify.
And is that on the website? Like, say someone at home wanted to refer someone or knew someone, is that on your website?
Yeah, the application form isn't.
Okay,
but
right.
they can contact us asking for service. In which case I will always get back to them within 24 hours and start the process for them. They come on board. We start off with a 4-day can be residential, a 4-day individual one-on-one course. Because like we were saying before, one of the biggest steps is for them to get on day one. You might have somebody there who's been isolated, self-isolation, not until COVID, but self-isolation for years.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
So to all of a sudden take them out of that environment, their safe environment, into a group of say 20 people. Yeah. Right?
Yeah.
A lot of guys will find that very intimidating.
Yeah.
So we avoid putting them into that situation.
That makes sense. Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
Especially when they're the one that doesn't know what they're doing and the other 19 do.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
So we won't put people in that situation. So they start off on day one of a 4-day course, meeting all intents and purposes total strangers.
Yeah.
By the end of that 4 days course, they've made a new best friend.
Yeah.
Right? So once they've been through that course, that 4-day course, then we introduce them to the regional get-together program.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
If I tell you this current year, we'll do in the region of 90 events with up to 20 at each one.
Gosh.
And we'll do in the region about 35 individual 4-day courses.
Goodness me. So there is a need. There's a big need out there, isn't there?
I have to add at this stage, we only are a small charity.
Yeah.
But I would say we're a small charity that operates in various parts of the country with a big job to do. So yeah, definitely.
And tell us about the regional coordinators, because you didn't used to have regional coordinators, and that's quite a new thing.
It is. But thank goodness.
Yeah, I know, because exactly. Like you're running around the country.
Yeah, I mean, for 2011 when I took on the role as national coordinator. Up until about 18 months ago, 2 years ago now, I was doing everything myself.
I know,
Right?
Yeah.
And anyone, but it was a passion.
Yeah.
So it didn't feel, it wasn't work.
It doesn't feel like work, I get that. Yeah, I get that.
It was a passion. I'd do up to 1,000 miles a week. Doing all sorts of things. Yeah, because let's say fishing is a tool that we use. There's an awful lot more to it.
Absolutely, behind the scenes
than that. So I'd be found myself in all sorts of situations. Standing next to a bed in ICU, having been nominated as next of kin, or all sorts of things over that time. I suddenly woke up, it was almost like I woke up one morning and thought, well, what happens if I got hit by a bus tomorrow?
Fair comment,
And
because it's a lot on one person, that.
It is, but it doesn't feel like
no,
that.
yes, I understand that.
And my other half, she's very tolerant, very good, but very understanding.
Yes, of course.
So it was a question of, well, what happens if I'm not here?
Absolutely. Who do they turn to then?
Well, would the charity still exist?
Sure. Yeah. Sure.
Was a thing.
Was the concern. Yeah.
So I had a word with the trustees at the time, and we thought it was a good idea moving forward to have some kind of succession plan in place. And so I put my thinking cap on, and what we like to do and we've got these regional coordinators around the country.
Yes.
95% of them are all beneficiaries that have come through the charity,
Yes.
right? Developed their own skills,
Yeah.
within fishing. We've put them through their level 2s, with the Angling Trust, and the coach qualifications. Now they're taking on different regions around the country.
Tell us what the regional coordinators do, because they are relatively new.
Yeah, one of the things that played on my mind was the fact that the charity was becoming bigger. Still not big, but it's busier, I should say. Right? And certainly in the early days, I would be on the phone to all the guys at least once a week. Right? Because let's follow up, make sure we're all right.
Checking in, basically.
Checking in with you is a major part of it. Like I say, a lot of these guys have been self-isolating for years, their lives have fallen apart, they have no social interaction at all, a lot of the guys. So just touching base with them on a regular basis was a massive part of it. Now, it got to the stage, all of a sudden you've got a couple of hundred guys on your books. Right? And you can't ring every Friday. Right? And I was always very, very conscious of them not becoming a number. Right? Which for a lot of large charities, they unfortunately, sadly, they do operational challenges. So again, putting the regional coordinators in place, they became the face of the charity, if you like. They're the access point, they're the regular contact. And who better to do that than somebody who's been through it?
Absolutely, couldn't agree more. They get it.
So that's where it is. In fact, I'm talking very recently. Over the last couple of weeks, we had Lady Bower in Derbyshire, where we're based. We had a guy on the course there last week. We've got another guy this week, and in both cases, the regional coordinator has been instructing for us there. In both cases, the new guys, have turned around and said, "I tell you what, absolutely fantastic." Straight away, put their ease.
They get it. They know what it's like to be in that position, which, being honest, you and I don't. We don't, because we haven't been through the programme.
We haven't got personal experience.
Absolutely, and there's a lot in that. You know, like with anything in life, if you've been through something, you can understand it a lot better than someone who hasn't. So tell us, what's going on today? So obviously the boys are out fishing. Just tell us a bit about today. Where do the boys come from? You know, north of England and northeast of England.
The northeast today, I mean, which is great. And I mean, for example, like I said, this week we've had Essex here, South Wales tomorrow, and it's they'll all be from those areas. On Wednesday we're in Devon. I think we've got Hampshire on next Friday.
Oh, you're busy. It's really busy, isn't it?
It is, but it doesn't
feel like work.
No, absolutely. I do miss, if I'm absolutely honest, I do miss getting out on the road. More.
You must, because you spent years doing that.
Yeah,
I still do it, but just not.
Yeah, I go to about 30% of it.
Okay,
Right, I go into 23. Right, more or less. But I'm in regular contact with all the regional coordinators, and that's the bulk of my role now. That and obviously fundraising and everything else, all the admin side, all the nice
plenty of that. Plenty of that.
We just love it.
Gosh, you do not. So you've worked with the charity since 2011. Are there any success stories that stand out to you? I know I've got plenty from my time working with the charity. Also a lot of funny stories that you've been part of as well. But is there anything that raves success to you, Paul?
Quite literally, there's hundreds.
Where do you start?
There's hundreds of them.
Where do you start?
One thing I am, and I'm playing the politician here, right? If I can keep it vague, right? And generalise a lot. I think
You've got to.
You've
got to.
And it comes back to when I said what I'm proud of in the charity as well, and that's the guys themselves. When you've got a guy that an individual might have been self-isolated, never left the house for 7 years.
Gosh.
And you know, the next time he's out and about and he's socialising as if, you know, it's not a problem.
Yeah.
Taking guys from, you know, never having picked up a fishing rod before to completing their Angling Trust Level 2 coaching qualifications and passing that knowledge and experience on to others as well to help them. You know, every one of those is a success. You know, for every guy that, like we've been saying, you know, every guy that turns up on day one for
it's
course,
a success.
it's a success.
It is, 100%.
You know, and there are literally hundreds of those over the years, which has been fantastic.
Yeah. Tell us about, I can't say this word, I'm not a professional interviewer, but Paul can say this word, anonymity.
That's the one.
Can't say it. Can't say it. I literally, you know when there's some words you can't say.
You started me off.
That's the word. Because the reason I'm mentioning this is because I've written blogs in the past for Sportfish, and we put them on our website. You can find one of them on there now for Fishing for Heroes, and we put them on social, and we have hidden the faces of the veterans. And we always get a comment along the lines of, well, why are you hiding the faces? We can't see them. Explain why I have to do that and why we have to do that.
We support guys from all sorts of different regiments, special forces guys, SF, intelligence services, security services. And to the extent where a lot of those guys don't even use their real names.
That's right,
They can be, with modern technology, they can be identified from a photograph. So we've always kept that separate. Also, the fact is that we work with people who are suffering with mental health problems.
Vulnerable people.
Vulnerable
right?
people,
Yes.
So we don't want to label them.
Yeah.
You know, we don't want people to be identifiable.
Shouldn't be labelled.
Right? Unfortunately, we live in a world now where a lot of our funders, they expect and require to see photographs of the work we do. Right? Yes. So people might start seeing photographs of some of the guys.
Sure.
But each and every one of those guys I'll have taken to one side. Beforehand, right, and ask them the question: are they all right with it? You know, we're not going to put them in any kind of situation. You know, and until I'm satisfied that they're happy with it, and not just give a lip service. Right? Because a lot of the guys will say, "No, you take photographs, not a problem at all," but because they think that's what we want to hear. But until I'm convinced that they're all right with it, then so there might be the occasional photograph appearing from in the future, but that's unfortunately a situation, like I say, in the world. It's with funders, it's a requirement.
2024 is a big year for Fishing for Heroes. Tell us why.
Yeah, exciting year ahead. There's a few bits and pieces planned, and no doubt there'll be more coming up, developing through the year. Obviously, this is one of the highlights.
Obviously.
With the yourself and Sportfish.
100%.
Absolutely. It is. It's, again,
great
historic.
platform for you.
Absolutely. Absolutely. In the next couple of months, we've got the launch of a new Patrons Club.
Oh, right. Okay.
And there's going to be 3 tiers of that. There's going to be a Friends of Fishing for Heroes, which is going to be people can sign up for £100 a year and sign up for 3 years. Right? Then you've got the full Patrons Club, which is £1,000 a year, signing up for 3 years. And then you've got the corporate, which is obviously it's a little bit more.
Of course, yeah.
But signing up for 3 years. That signing up for 3 years is important.
Yeah.
Because it gives you continuity, security, and security for the next financial security, I should say, for the next 3 years at least. So yeah, that's being launched. Then we've got. Hopefully, we'll be doing another cast and blast.
Oh, that would be good.
Which will be fantastic. It's a long time since we've done one of those.
It's a long time.
So that's about 10 years.
Because it was before I joined.
Yeah,
it was before.
Yeah, in fact, it might have been before that.
Yes, it was. Yeah.
We did that one down in Hampshire, Mill Springs. We had a cracking day down there, and that raised in the region about.
And the weather was good. The weather was good, wasn't
fantastic.
it, compared to today?
Yeah.
How much did you raise in the region?
That was in the region of 20,000, just short of, just shy of 20,000 on the day.
That's incredible in one day.
Yeah.
That's incredible.
So we're doing another one of those. We've got a national get together where we'll be basically taking over a big hotel, and gathering guys from all over the country. And coming up to Ladybow, and that'll be over 3 days. That'll be a 3-day event. So in that time, guys can do bank fishing, do boat fishing, river fishing, float tubing, all sorts of things.
And meet like-minded from all over the UK and forge friendships ultimately.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right.
And that brings us onto another thing that I've not actually mentioned as of yet. But as of why fly fishing?
Yeah. Oh yeah, definitely. Why fly fishing?
Yeah. Why do we do what we do?
Yeah. Of all sports pastimes you could pick, why fly fishing?
Yeah. I think those that go fly fishing will appreciate this. Other form of angling is available, I have to say.
Of course.
But the most therapeutic for mental health is, as academic research has shown, to be fly fishing.
That's right. Yeah.
And that's been proven by research that's been done over in the United States of America with 3 separate universities: Salt Lake, Utah. And you'll have to forgive me, I can't remember the one. But there's three different universities that is on it, which also shows that. There has been research done into other forms of fishing, carp fishing, and coarse fishing, but fly fishing in particular is the most active. And that's because of a mixture of different things. One, you're not sitting around a commercial fishery as such, in a lot of cases. Well, obviously we're here at fishing today. Yeah. But you're not always.
You're not. And you do events on rivers, and
absolutely.
You've done lots of different things.
Absolutely.
So
you've got that element to it.
Yeah.
They also do something all the time.
Yeah,
right?
the mind.
So it's
keeping the mind busy
before they leave the house. Right? They've got to make it. It's almost like a mission. You've got to get everything prepared. Yeah. Get to the venue. Right? Then they've got to take all sorts of things into consideration: weather, water, the environment. So the actual thinking about things is just different stages. And obviously then you've got the fish care elements of it as well. But they basically do something all the time, rather than sitting in a bivvy for 2 or 3 days. And
that's when the mind, I would imagine, starts to wander.
It can be too much time. Having said that, we do carp fishing as well.
Yeah, you have done, yes.
But I have to say, and it might sound wrong, but I do tend to cherry pick when I take guys carp fishing. Who I take and when I take them.
Yes.
They've got to be in the right frame of mind.
I get that.
If you've got someone who's using a really dark place, a really bad place, the last thing you want them to be doing is sitting in a bivvy for 2 or 3 nights or 3 days. Right? Yes, they're in amongst a group of people, but it's too much time to think. Right?
Absolutely.
I'm not saying it can't be beneficial for them, but we don't want to take that risk. Yeah, we want to be constructive.
Yeah.
Rather than
Yeah. No, I totally get that for sure.
So with fly fishing, we'll do events like today. They'll do something all the time. We'll take them up to Scotland salmon fishing for a week. We're very lucky to be invited to various places around the country, like you say. So they do something all the time. The environment they're in, whether it be a still water, running water, it's there. One of the biggest things, and I always say fishing is a tool that we use, but there's a lot more to it than that. And one of the most beneficial times or stages of the day for the guys is sitting around, having sandwich, lunchtime, talking,
Totally agree.
banter.
Yeah, banter, crag.
And that is as an important part of it.
Which is why we never rush that. I know there's been times when we've held events, you know, and I've been present, and you can see anglers running in, grabbing their lunch, having their lunch, and then running out to catch fish. And we see it. And yeah, we know that if we got our guys out quicker, they catch more fish. But I think the point is, as you've said before, it's not about that. It's not about the catching fish.
That's right.
Is it?
Absolutely.
You know,
it's a big part of it.
Yeah.
It's been part of the whole picture.
Yeah.
And when we look at, although we use fly fishing, there's a whole holistic, if you like, side of it.
Absolutely.
You know, which is very beneficial for you.
Absolutely. Okay, viewers at home that are watching us today, firstly, we do hope that we haven't rambled on for a while, because Paul and I can both talk. I'm worse than you. I am a talker. We've known each other obviously a very long time, but how can viewers at home help support Fishing for Heroes and the work you do?
All sorts of things, really. We are very, very lucky in as much as we get a lot of offers of people wanting to help.
Yeah. Yes.
As in giving their time up, giving their skills, wanting to share their skills and experiences with us. We have to be very careful, right? You instruct for us, right? But you've got a very good understanding of what the guys are going through, what they need. We have a duty of care to our instructors as much as we do the guys.
Absolutely.
Right? The last thing we need is a situation, or want is a situation to arise. But probably more important than that, the reason why we don't take people up on their offers as a group is it's more important to get the guys coming up and doing it themselves.
Yes.
And this comes back to the regional coordinators, bringing them up, giving them the opportunity to help us, to put something back, to share their experiences, and who, like I already said, who better is to understand, have empathy with the guys than guys that have already been through it themselves.
Absolutely, couldn't agree more. Yeah.
We do get a lot of offers for mentoring and things like that, but we unfortunately the situation is that we can't really take an awful lot of people on that. We do a lot of fisheries will hold competitions, sponsored competitions, fundraising.
We've done that in the past.
We've done it here. And we can raise a lot of money.
Absolutely.
To that for the guys. So if there's anybody out there that is in a local syndicate, local club, a regular at a local fishery, maybe suggest to the fishery owner, how about putting a sponsored event on? If anybody wants to know more details about how to do that, let me know.
Yeah.
Right? I used to run the National Stillwater Championships as a fundraiser for Fishing for Heroes, so I've got a bit of experience in doing that. So I will help.
Brilliant.
Support goes both ways. Yeah, I'll help as much as I possibly can.
And the link for Fishing for Heroes is just underneath the video, so by all means you can contact Paul through the Fishing for Heroes website.
So yeah, there's that.
Yeah.
There's also on the website we've got an online shop.
Yes. Yeah.
It's something we've developed this year.
Yeah.
Prior to that, we were sending a little bit of merchandise that shows,
wasn't it? Yes. Yeah.
But now we've got the online shop, which is doing really well.
Yeah.
It's very busy, and it's raising a lot of money for the guys.
Fantastic.
That's actually new development. The website, back in
website
last year. Yeah, we revamped it because it was looking very dated, and it wasn't a priority.
Yes, absolutely.
It wasn't a priority we were getting on with the job, not trying to make ourselves look good and pretty on a website. But the time was due when we were
ready for an update.
And if anyone goes on the website, they'll see various pages and explanation on different department categories and things. They'll also see the online shop. They'll see a members.
It's a members area, isn't there?
There is, yeah, but that is purely for our beneficiaries.
Yes. Yeah.
And on there they have a calendar, have access to forums, a calendar, a national calendar, so they can see whatever's going on around the country.
Thank you very much, Paul. And if anyone, if anyone wants to reach out to Paul, please do so through the Fishing for Heroes website. And thank you very much for tuning in to our interview.